Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ladies Tale podcast. I'm so excited to be doing the Ladies Tale podcast. This morning, I was putting up shows, and I recognized I need so many shows for the Ladies Tale podcast to catch up with the rest. No one needed to know that, but I felt like I should share. Yeah, no. Now I'm still reviewing what I'm saying, and no one needed to know that. I really need a Jade today because I had a lovely brunch and one too many champagnes. It should be a fun show. Anyway, I'm Wilnona. Oh, I remember to introduce myself. High five to me. Yes. Oh, there's no Jade, so hold on. Okay, I'm done. That looks really bad. It looks better in my head. Oh, I should mention that we wrote books. We meaning the missing Jade that's not in this chair. Wrote books, not, my dual personality of wonderful and gorgeous. And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, Foreign Coffee. You can find all of those six books in total I lost my train of thought. Mimosa brain, it's back. You can find those 6 books wherever you find audiobooks. And then you remember, you guys, we have another 11, which equals 17 books in total. So if we have 17 books in total, where you can find the other 11 at www.indithoughladies.com. I almost did the car salesman one first. No Jade means car salesman style website. So it's www.indithoughladies.com. And hey, I'm not here by myself today. I have co-host. Co-host, would you like to introduce yourself? Let's start with Sue.
Hi, my name's Sue Sheridan, and I am a talent agent here in London in the UK.
And I have my secondary co-host, who is like, if Jade's not here, then you know that she's gonna pull out like all the stops and be like Jade-esque. Tanya Todd.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm an author, actress, and screenwriter from Las Vegas.
That is so short nowadays. So concise. If I could make the beginning of my show like that, it'd be beautiful. So I'm going to make this concise. You're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name is Claire, and I am Simon, and I'm a casting director in Chicago. I cast TV, film, and lots of theater. And I'm happy to be here.
You cast, okay, so now I have to ask professional questions. Normally I start off with like, you're in Chicago, what do you like to eat? Oh, I lied. I'm going to start off, you're in Chicago, what do you like to eat?
It's like,
I'm going to start off with lots of theater.
Did you say something about eating? What do I like to eat?
It's Chicago. For the love of goodness, you eat.
If I told you what I eat on a daily basis, you'd be so bored. Like, it's just chicken, salad, chicken, and some more chicken. Oh. No, but we have great food here. I'm the wrong person to ask.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes this more of a professional interview. Because when someone says Chicago, because we order our food from Taste of Chicago, it's like $200 for pizza, but it's worth it.
Right. We have good pizza here for sure.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, ribs. Okay, that's right. You said you don't eat. You eat chicken and salad. Let me move on, because I'm about to go
salad. Yeah, that's going to be a boring, discussion.
So you said you do theater.
Uh-huh.
How does one cast for theater? Because I've had plenty of people who've done commercials, television, and movies, but not theater.
Well, you cast for it in the same way you cast for TV and film. I mean, you get a project, you go through the script, you bring in the best people for the role, and then you bring them in for your clients. I mean, it's exactly the same. Maybe you look for different qualities in the talent when you work on theater, because they've got to have some background, and they have to have a vocal instrument. They have to be able to project to row double J. But for the most part, a good actor is a good actor. So I just bring in the best of the best for my clients.
Okay, last question from me, and then you get handed off to the professionals. Are you nervous about going to the professionals? Because I'm nervous about handing you off.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. So my other question was, like, I was reading about you, and it says at the beginning, casting for Chicago, blah, 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 blah. Could you tell us what those projects were?
Which ones are you asking me about?
It wasn't a good question at all. I
Blah,
didn't.
blah, blah. Right, well, I can tell you what I'm working on now. I mean, we do, okay, we do casting for Chicago Fire, which is on NBC. I cast Chicago PD, which is on NBC. We're working right now on a show called Saturdays for ABC Disney, which is about some teenagers and their family and roller skating. They spend every Saturday at the roller rink, which is super duper fun because I had no idea there was such a full culture of roller skating still out there. I have some really phenomenal roller skaters. So every episode will have some super cool roller skating in it, and they'll highlight some really amazing roller skaters that are not necessarily in the show. So that's been really fun. We're working on, we do a lot of theater in the spring. So we're working on shows for some theaters in Chicago and Florida and, regional theaters. So yeah, so that is what we're doing now. I mean, we just finished a film called We Grown, which is about two boys growing up in Cabrini Green, right before it got gentrified. Really excited about that. I don't know what blah blah you were talking about. Some of our other.
Oh, no, the first two are exactly what I was talking about. I was like, I'm not sure if she's allowed to talk about it, but it was on your website immediately. It was like, poof, Chicago Fire.
Yeah, we cast for the first 5 seasons of Empire, which was super duper fun. And
okay, so I'm handing you off to the professionals who actually know what they're talking about, because my next question is going to be about, would you like to write a book of poetry? And I don't feel that that's not your field, right?
Oh no, but the answer is yes.
God, we need to talk about that later.
All right.
Sue and Tanya.
I think what's interesting about this evening is that we've kind of got the chain of how TV shows and theatre and films, we've got the talent, and then we've got the agent, and then we've got the casting director. So it's interesting that all three of us and you as well, we're all together in one, and it's very rare that you'll have the agent with a casting director and the talent all in one place. So I hope we've broken down some walls this evening, which is quite nice.
Which brings me to a question. Nice. I swore I wasn't coming back in, but I'm jumping back in. But how does a casting director and an agent and the producers and directors collaborate in making a show possible? Sue or Claire, jump in.
Well, I would say
we get instruction from Claire. Claire would send out the work to us, and then we have to put our best talent forward to make Claire's or any casting director's eyes sort of say, they can see what we see.
Claire?
I was just going to say, I just so you have some background on me. I mean, I when I got out of college, I went to a small college, and I wanted to be an actress. And so I figured, since I was like Cecily Cardew and the importance of being earnest, and I was a big fish in a tiny little bowl, I thought the water was going to part for me. So that didn't happen. But I was a struggling actor for 10 years, and then I was an agent for 5, and then I've been casting for 26. So it is collaborative. Everything's collaborative, and we all need each other. So I think the reason that I love what I do as much as I do is because I've been in all those little places. I know what it feels like to stand on that X in the middle of the room, not knowing what people think. I know that insecurity or that vulnerability you feel as an actor, because you're always waiting for someone to pick you. And I also know what it feels like to be an agent, which I really loved being an agent, because the difference is like a producer will hire me, or a studio will hire me and say, this is the project, this is what we need, this is our vision. And then I go to somebody like Sue and say, this is what I'm looking for, these are the parameters of the role, send me the best of the best. And a really great agent, there's varying levels of agents out there. There are some that really vet their talent, they support them, they go see them in shows, they really know what they're capable of. So I'll go to somebody like Sue and say, I'm looking for this type of actor, these are the qualities the role has, and she'll send me the best of who she has. And she knows that because she's met with all these actors. She knows them. She's worked with them. She's seen their work, and she represents them to me. So I depend on the agents to send me the best of their best. And then, you have the actor who needs the agent, who's essentially like the person who can bust through the doors for them and get them in. It's really hard as a talent to push yourself on other people, is to promote yourself. But then when you haven't, well, it really is, if your agent calls and says, oh my God, Tanya's amazing. I just saw her in a show. She's got a great voice and she's got this and this. It's easier for Sue to push Tanya than it is for Tanya to call me directly and say, I'm amazing. As much as she probably would like to. So we all need each other, and I depend on the agents to tell me who's fabulous out there. When I send out a breakdown, and when I work on a series, we have 8 days to do each episode. So it's very fast and furious. So I will call in people that I know or that look really interesting, but I really depend on agents to say, wait a minute, please see this person. I just found her, she can do this. I just saw her do improv, whatever pitch they give me. And for me, it's 5 minutes of my time. I am always happy to meet anybody, but I depend on an agent to really promote their talent, kind of thing. And then, the actors got to do their due diligence and do their work, and for the agent to best represent them. So it's like a whole chain of collaboration.
Tanya, do you have any questions?
Yes, whenever I gain an audience with a casting director in this kind of scenario, I'd like to pick their brains to find out what their preferences are in case I'm ever in a position to audition for them. And also because I know that the ladies' audience, they want to know these things.
I was about to say, all the other actresses out there really want to know.
Right, but I mean, not all casting directors are the same. They have different preferences in and out of the room. So first, I want to know, before lockdown, how did you feel about self-tapes versus in-person auditions?
Well, before lockdown, we really didn't do self-tapes very often, unless somebody was, out of the country, or somebody was on vacation and I really wanted them to be seen by the producer. Now, after 2 years, everything is self-tape, and it still is. Like, our shows don't allow us to have in-person auditions quite yet. So, and I have to say, as much as I miss the actors, there's a lot to be said for the self-tapes, because number one, for instance, this morning I was up at 5 a.m. going through tapes. So I can do it in my jammies and my hair can still be squished. So that's really awesome. And I can see 10 times the amount of talent that I couldn't when I was bound by work hours. So, and also I think an actor has control over their auditions. So many times, I'm sure as an actor, you prepare and you rehearse and you're brilliant in the car and you're brilliant in your bathroom in front of the mirror. And then you get into the situation where you have 4 people on a couch that you don't know, and you're by yourself and you get jitters and it's sweaty, and you do your audition, you leave, and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could do that again. I don't think I did my best. And you don't have that chance. You self-tape, you can do 27 takes. You get to be the producer and the director for your own audition. So you have much more control over the product that you send out. And I have much more opportunity to bring in new faces for my clients, which is awesome. So, self-tapes are wonderful, but like anything, you have to make sure you're doing a good job and that the lighting is good and that you're prepared, and you can't half-ass it.
Yes.
There are a lot of people where I'm like, did they not even look at the tape? Like, they'll do it, and this is what it'll look like. And I'll be like, did they not notice that like they forgot to put their face in there? Or it'll be like, did they not check the sound? So, you have to treat it like a profession, kind of thing. But
it is a profession.
It is a profession. So, the thing I am always looking for is preparation, A great attitude, because somebody comes in with a negative attitude, you feel it in the room. And, truth. It doesn't matter if it's comedy or drama or reality or, theater. It's all
Mhm.
about truth. It's about the truth that you bring to the audition. It's about being a real human being and bringing your best self to it. And I think a lot of actors feel like if they don't ornament what they're doing, if they don't like bring it to a different, like make it big, that they're not acting. And I think that's the one thing a lot of people aren't in touch with, is the more it's all about truth. It's about truth in the moment. It's about listening. So I'm just looking for someone who's really prepared, really truthful, and just themselves. And then it comes down to, I'm not the ultimate decider. I'm the ultimate decider out of 1,000 submissions, which 8 get to meet the director. But then after that, a director selects, the producer selects, and I got to send it to LA to have a group of people sign off, and then I got to send it to NBC. So there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sue, do you
So
have
you
I like
I had
self-tapes.
thought
Yeah,
of.
I enjoyed the self. Sorry, Tonya. I'll let you
Okay.
go. I was just going to say, as an agent, I'm loving self-tapes because they'll send it to me first, and I'll just say, nope, you haven't got that right. Do it again. So
Right.
they're getting an insight straight away of someone saying to them, if you need somebody else to read, I don't mind reading with people, rehearsing it through with people. I want to see an excellent self-tape because they're representing the best of themselves, but also they're representing me as their agent. So I love self-tapes. I love seeing self-tapes. I've had to watch many today, and it's part of my job now. Before, they went into the room and they would call me afterwards, but now I'm actually part of that whole casting process, and I'm loving it.
I would imagine that would be wonderful as an agent, because you really get a sense of what your artists are doing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And you know who's put the time in to learn that script. Sometimes we get a short turnaround, and when you see them, I had a casting for one of the big Netflix shows, a period drama, and I could see the talent, that there wasn't enough passion or love for the part. It's just like, oh, do I have to do it again? Listen, babes, if you want this part, you're gonna have to do it again, or don't do it. That's
Right.
it. End of. Don't do it.
Okay, so Tanya, we're back to you with your question.
Well, Claire, you just prompted a question that I didn't have written before this. Every once in a while, I'll do self-tapes, and, reviewing the tapes, you see, oh crap, I missed one of the lines here, or I tweaked one of the lines here. This one, I got all the lines perfect, but this one, I feel like I hit the emotional beats better. Would you prefer the one with the lines a little bit askew if the essence is still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you know what? You can always send both. You know what I mean? You could always send both and have but when it comes down to it, I'm looking for truth in the essence of what you're talking about, and like a scene that's on fire. Right? I'm not going to be like, she got the word "the" wrong, and it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be alligator, not crocodile. So like that. So no, it's about the moments. You can always get those lines. Everybody knows you're auditioning, so it's not a final performance. So yeah, as a matter of fact, like back in the olden days where I had to. Can we swear on this show? So back in the olden days when we had to do everything on videotape, and I'd have like 5 tapes like stacked up, and you'd have to play, and then somebody would screw up their lines and go, oh shit, and you'd be like, no, because then you had to back it up, like, because you can't send that. The thing of it is sometimes when you are off kind of in your audition, there would be some beautiful moments. Like I'd be like, just keep going and finish it, because sometimes you find like really wonderful moments when you're a little bit off, or you have to think on your feet, especially with comedy. So if you forget your lines and you just have to wing it, sometimes like some really amazing things happen. And I could always go back and do a second take that was like straight to the the lines and try it again. But sometimes you find really amazing things in there, because when you forget your lines, you really have to be present. You know, you have to think on your feet. And if you know the scene well enough, you're going to know what's going on and who you're talking to. So you'll be able to kind of rally and then finish it up. So that's a very long answer to your question, but I'm more interested in the moments and the truth of the moments and who you are, as opposed to getting the lines right. Now the writer might feel differently, you know, if you paraphrase the hell out of it, but no, I'm just looking for a really great audition.
What are some of your pet peeves, both on tape and in the room?
Well, anybody who doesn't prepare, or who half-asses something. Like, so many people want to be in this industry, and so many people are passionate about wanting to be in this industry, and then don't prepare and do an audition as though they could actually get the job. That I have a problem with that. That's really disappointing. And if somebody sends out a tape to me and hasn't checked it, and the lighting looks terrible, or there's no sound, or like I've just got from their eyebrows up kind of thing, it just shows a lack of care. So I think, you know, everybody has cruddy days. Everybody has off days. So like an audition that's not amazing, I'm never gonna write somebody off because of that. Everybody has off days, but somebody who hasn't prepared, hasn't taken the time, and especially when they were in person, because I would only bring in maybe 6 to 8 people per role. So if somebody came in and hadn't put the thought and the effort into it, I would think to myself, there are so many other actors who would have loved to be here right now in front of the director. You know, I'll tell you what, my pet peeves just are mostly about, you know, people who aren't professional, people who are unkind when they come in, unkind to my receptionist, you know, have a chip on their shoulder. It's more about being a kind person. I think you can never underestimate the potency of your humanity when you come in. Like somebody who comes in and is flexible, is joyful when they walk in the room, is willing to play, has a good attitude, even if they're not right for the role or they have an off day, they leave and I'll be like, there's something about her I like. I will keep bringing you back in, you know. But it's people who are unkind or have an attitude or are unpleasant, I think I have more of a problem with. And, you know, I guess the other pet peeve is when people come in and like make excuses or say they're sick. I've had people come in and be like, I almost didn't come in today because I like had intestinal flu, but I came in anyway. And you're like, no, you're just like, don't tell me about that. And don't come in when you're sick. So I don't know I don't think that'll happen anymore these days, but that happened a lot. And then they leave and everybody's like, can we wipe down the doorknobs? Because they'd be like, I have the flu, but I came in anyway. So I don't know. Don't come in sick and don't be mean, I guess.
Last time, Don, you asked the question about a slate, and see, as a poet, a slate to me is something I write on with chalk, but apparently it's something to actual actors and actresses out there. Go ahead and tell them about something.
Well, you know what? Slate, it's so funny because we hang on to a lot of things that are just not valid anymore. Like a slate before, people used to like hold a piece of paper and it'd be like Claire Simon, you know, like 5'5", and then you drop the piece of paper and you do your audition, and it was used so that people could find you on the videotape, like, and they would remember who you were. Now when you audition, your name is on the bottom, it's already on there, so you don't really need slates anymore. A slate is an introduction. It's introducing yourself so people know what your name is and can remember you. Yeah, I don't think people do those so much anymore.
Okay, one
I
last.
still get asked for them, but I didn't know that years ago it used to be so that you could find them on a continuous tape. Now
Yeah.
I should have never had to do one of those.
Yeah, right. And now everybody has their name already on the audition. It's like, you know, it's computer generated, so you don't really need them. Unless sometimes with commercials, they'll ask you to say your name, your height, you know, or with kids. So they'll need those on the, you know, on the audition, like how old they are, when their birthday is, how tall they are. And that's just to keep track of everything, but it's very rare anymore that we use those.
What about the way the files are named when they're uploaded? Is that important to you?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I've met a few people who can't stand it when the file is like a series of numbers, because then they have to manually go through and rename every file to the person, or maybe you use a system that separates
We
it
pretty
for
much
you.
have everybody upload on Breakdown. What you know,
Okay.
we do on EcoCast. So when they upload, their resumes on there and their names on there already. So there's no, I've never seen one with numbers on it.
So it doesn't matter. Okay.
I always, if any of my talent send me over a WeTransfer link and it hasn't been labeled correctly, most of the time it's because I tell them not to label it, because I will do it. So I know what the casting director specifically wants. You know, if they want the name of the talent, the name of the role and the show, and then I will rename it. So I know when it's going over to whoever I need to send it to, it is clearly labeled. But I will do that for the talent. Talent never have to worry about that. They just need to give me a great self-tape to give to the casting director, and I will take care of everything else.
We
Well,
love you for that.
Yeah. I have one question that does not require expertise in the area, so I'm kind of happy about this. But when you do a callback, can I hear both, like what it's like for the casting director to do a callback, and then what it's like for the talent agent to do a callback? Is it like the most exciting part of the job, or is it kind of blah?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love just getting as soon as I've submitted and I've pitched, and then when you get the big shows or the big features, like what Claire has worked on, and you get the big shows, the ones that's easily recognizable, your heart comes out of your throat, and you can't wait to make that call. You just can't wait, and you call your talent and you just say, you never guess what. I always prep my talent as well. They know what I'm pitching them for. And because a lot of agents just send them a list at the end of the month, I don't. As soon as I've pitched them for a role, whether they get the casting or not, I want them already in the frame of that character. If I see them as that character and I want the casting, I want them prepped. So they know I've put them up for, I don't know. I tell you, I'm working a couple of Disney productions at the moment. And one of them's Wicked, the stage show Wicked. They're turning into a feature film. And when I got the castings for that, you know, I prepped my clients and said, look, I've put you up for this role and the other client for that role. And when I got the email from the casting director to say, we would love to see so-and-so for this part. And that, the joy, honestly, Claire, the joy you give us. It just makes our day, and then we make our talent's day, and then the real work begins.
Claire, what's it like for you?
Well, I know exactly what Sue's saying. It's kind of different because, like, when you're a talent agent, you work one-on-one with all these actors. Sue, I don't know how many people you represent, but I do know, like, that when I was an agent, it was small enough that I knew about everybody's, you know, rent problems, their boyfriend breakups. Like, you get really involved and you care about them deeply. So when you pitch somebody and get them called back, it's like it's a victory for you too. You know, it's thrilling. For me, I mean, as a casting director, you know, I bring in I care about all the talent in the city that I bring in, but I don't know who's breaking up with who all the time. And I don't know, I don't have those day-to-day relationships with them. It's just exciting when anybody gets anything. I'm just thrilled for them. And it's really exciting for me, when I find somebody new. Like, for instance, when I worked on Empire, we had a role that was supposed to be a love interest of one of the sons. And she was supposed to be a rapper, and I brought in everybody in the world that said they could rap. Like if my mom would have said she could rap, she could have auditioned. So I brought them all in, and there was one girl that came in. I don't know if you watched the show, but like Cookie was supposed to have this like sassy assistant. This girl came in and she was so fabulous. She wasn't right for the role I brought her in, but she was fabulous. So I brought her in for the other role. Like I was having a carnival in my head when I saw her because she was perfect. And so she came in for like 3 callbacks. And one of them, she came in when she was wearing scrubs because she was a dietitian assistant in an old people's home. And I was like, could I love her anymore right now? And then she got to audition in front of Lee Daniels, and just watching that whole process of finding somebody out of nowhere and then watching them, like she, not only did she get the role, but she recurred, and then she was a series regular. Like I couldn't have been more excited for her than if I got the role myself. So it's thrilling it's really thrilling to watch people succeed. It really is. It's a thrill to watch an actor come in and kick ass. And for someone, and especially like in Chicago, I think people tend to come to Chicago and think of it, like there's LA and there's New York. And they think, those are the best of the best. And then they'll come to Chicago and be like, oh, everyone's really good here. Like they're surprised. And I'm like, I know. So it's really a thrill when, like LA, New York, and Chicago are looking for a lead in one of the shows, and Chicago wins. So, yeah, it's thrilling. It's a hard business, so it's a real thrill to watch anybody succeed.
Tanya, you have the next to the last question, and then we're out of here.
I need it to be 2 because one is very important and the other is just silly. Okay. Important question.
Put an and in between, and then it's one question.
They're so unrelated. The first one is the important one. Tell us about Meal for Monologues, please.
Oh, wow. Thanks for asking about that. Giving back is a huge part of the culture of my business. I think it's really important. And so one year we decided to have this open call. People always want to come in and audition. So I decided anyone who breathed air, which is pretty much everyone, could come in and audition as long as they brought in some non-perishable items to be donated to the food bank. And so the first year I lost my mind because 80 people showed up. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing it for 15 years now, even through COVID. And our last 3 years, we've had 700 people.
Wow.
So I think it's just the most amazing thing where you just take an opportunity and you feel like one person can't make a difference, but one person times 700, bringing just 2 items it's a huge donation. And so the last 2 years during COVID, we couldn't do it in person. So we had people, the first year we had them donate to the Actors Fund, and it was like a minimum of $3 and then whatever you wanted. And last year we donated to the food pantry, and the first year we made $9,000 for the Actors Fund, and the second year we got $10,000 for the food pantry. So it's the times we had them in person, we had 700 people in my office during the day. So it was super hot, really fun, really fast, and really sweaty, but it was wonderful. And everybody's like, it creates such a beautiful energy of people giving back. Like everybody's happy to be there. They're happy to donate. It's really fun to watch that pile grow. So thank you for asking. Like it's our, and now, now it's done nationally, which is super
fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. Which is very, very cool.
And then my last question is just silly. Is Lena Dunham still your celebrity crush?
I don't think so.
Who is her replacement?
I don't know who my celebrity crush is. That's a good question. I don't know. I must say that I'm super embarrassed, but I feel like I watched everything on every streaming during COVID. So I don't know, Magic Johnson might be my celebrity crush right now because I'm watching that documentary about him. So it might be him. I don't know.
Not a bad choice.
So I didn't get to ask a narcissist question, and that just popped into my little narcissist brain.
Okay.
So my narcissism is upset. But since I have no business dabbling into movies and TV nor theater, I just want to know, do you have any roles available for an adorable African-American Las Vegas actress or someone from the UK with a perfect accent?
Oh, I think I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Yes, and yes. Okay. Boom. Boom.
For real, the final question is, where can people find out more information about you if you want to put it out there, like your social medias, or about your company if you want to put that information out there as well?
Well, we've got our webpage, which is simoncasting.com. We have a webpage, and we're also on Instagram and Twitter, and we have a Facebook page, and we post all the time. So there you go.
Thank you so much for
That's
coming.
my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
So would you like to go ahead and wrap up for yourself? Can you tell people where they can find out more information about your talent? I don't know if other casting directors watch this, or, you know, about your company.
We are Opaque Artists, and we are on Instagram. I mainly post on Instagram, but I am actually too busy for a lot of it, which is good. Claire, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Tonya, lovely seeing you again. And obviously the ladies, lots of love to you and all your listeners too. Absolute pleasure. And I will say good night from Cyprus tonight.
I'm sorry, it's like 10. Well, you're coming up on 11. It's almost the next day.
Yeah.
Tanya, you can tell people where to find you.
I am across social media at Ms. Tanya Todd. My website is www.mstanyatodd.com. If you'd like to book me, you can talk to Sue, and you can also find me on IMDb.
Well, I'll go ahead and wrap up. I can go ahead and wrap up for the ladies. You can find everything that the ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, go down to the middle of the page and see the charities that we proudly support. We ask for you to please take a moment out of your day, give them a little time, a little attention. Everybody needs some help as we get over the pandemic and other things that are happening in the world. So you know the charities need some assistance. We thank you in advance for that. And remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.